Shin Godzilla.
All of y'all voted in a poll not too long ago, and everybody seemed to want me to rank all of the Playmates releases, so here we are. Just as a heads up though, if you didn't read the title or see the thumbnail, I'm going to be ranking the 2019, the 2020, and the 2021 releases from Playmates. The newer figures that were recently announced aren't going to be showing up here because 1, I don't own them, 2, they're not out yet. So anyway, let's just get started with, yet again, the did not buy. First up are going to be these GVK mini plushies. I didn't buy them because I didn't want them. I didn't buy them because I don't want to spend $80, $90 on a pack of mini plush toys. And the same thing is more so going to be said about these, the minifigures. I've seen this box set go for some pretty decent prices and some pretty ridiculous prices. It's like, yo, I get it. It's coming from Hong Kong and everything. But even me, who would spend $90 on a Bandai vinyl, doesn't want to spend a little bit less than that on a bunch of 4-inch figures. So I'm a bit of a hippopop-a-bit-of-a-crit or something like that. And the last two for the did not buys are going to be the two V2 Kong Skull Island figures. For those who don't know, Playmates re-released the two Kong Skull Island figures with a darker, more muted paint job. The ones they originally released were a little bit too on the bright side. Oh, that's a bad thing or anything, and I do plan on getting these eventually. It's just, as of right now, I'm kind of focused on building up the Bandai collection, and I'm terribly failing at saving up money for this year's major releases and everything, so that pretty much covers the did not buys. Let's get into the rest of them. And up first, we have Tin Can, the first version of Tin Can, and I don't think anybody's going to be surprised when I say that this is probably one of Playmates' best figures that they've released. And wouldn't you know it, the tail doesn't break into multiple pieces when you try to articulate it. Also because it's not articulated at all, and it's a piece of cheap rubber, but hey, I don't care. Alright, up next is Godzilla with Radio Tower. Now, the Godzilla figures from the GVK line, and just in general when it comes to Playmates, they're sorely lacking when it comes to the articulation. They mostly just get the mouth, 2 arms, 2 legs, and the one portion of the tail. And I do wish Playmates would incorporate a little bit more into them, but looking at the recent 2014 figure, and even looking at Godzilla testicular torsion or whatever, I can see they're really not moving away from that, and that's a bit of a bummer, but at the same time, we're still getting more articulation than the standard Bandai figure. But when it comes to Radio Tower, I'm gonna put him in great. I would not say he is the best. I'm going to save the best for a little bit later down this list over here. But yeah, for the most part, great release. Absolutely. Alright, up next is the 6-inch hard vinyl Final Wars Goji. Now, I remember seeing this and thinking, wow, that's awful. And then I remember getting it in and reviewing it and thinking, wow, this really isn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I originally thought it was a whole new mold, but it's not. It's a Bandai Museum recreation, I guess we could say. And yeah, he's not great, and I still do feel rather strongly about this figure because I think it really does look a lot better than people would give it credit for, but as compared to the 11-inch version, it doesn't compare at all. But in that sense, I still think it's a pretty decent release for Playmates, and I'm going to put it right there. Indecent. Up next is Vaporwave Godzilla, and aside from the positioning of the overall figure and him looking up like this, I think it's pretty cool. He's got the nice blue translucent dorsal fins, the sound bites are nice and everything, the articulation here nor there, but both of the Vaporwave figures as of right now are kind of like that. But when it comes to just the overall everything of both the Vaporwave figures, but more so Godzilla, I think I would put Vaporwave Godzilla in decent. Am I fine with sticking with that? Yeah, I am. And when it comes to Kong, I really do appreciate the rubber face and the chompers and everything, even though they smelt like burnt rubber, and they still do. I checked. It's just overall, the presentation of that figure can be a little bit on the goofy side, and he's good for a meme and all that good shit. But I wouldn't say it's a bad figure. I wouldn't say it's not good. I wouldn't say it's meh. I would say it is decent at best. For sure. Oh yes. Okay, and up next is going to be our first taste of the GVK Playmates line, and that is Giant Monkey. Giant Monkey looked way better in the promo shots, and when we got him, he was just a jet black monkey with a little bit of differentiation across him. This is yet another figure I wish Playmates kind of took back to the drawing board and did a re-release of, maybe add a couple of highlights to the fur and everything. But for what it is, it's a good figure with some decent articulation, a lot more than I was expecting, and I would definitely say Monkey is a great monkey, for sure. Classics line Destroyer. yes. This was a figure that from the first time that I saw it, I was like, this is terrible, but goddamn, Playmates did it. They gave Destroya its second pair of wings, and they're actually articulated, which is awesome. And beyond all of that, aside from the details being really lost in the cheap plastic, I still do think that Destroya is one of the stronger classic series releases next to Final Wars Gigan. Would I love it if Playmates would redo this in a hard vinyl or a more higher quality plastic? Absolutely. But as it stands, I still think it's a pretty dang good figure, even though mine has a milk mustache for teeth. So I'm gonna put classic line Destroya in great. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, we've been through this more than enough times already. You're not going to agree with my likes and my dislikes, all that other kind of stuff. This is just me. This is 50, yo. Oh. So up next is Kong with Fighter Jet, or as I like to call him, Monkey Jet. And honestly, this is the best 6-inch Kong figure out of the 6-inch figures, hands down. I prefer the paint over the others. I prefer the head sculpt over the Battle Axe Kong. It's just one of the better Kong figures from the GVK line. And I have absolutely no issue in saying that it is one of the best. It's going in the best because it is, in fact, one of the best. Alright, 11-inch Final Wars. This is probably, of the original Wave 1 offerings, the best looking one out of the lot, for sure. And you know me, I'm not a big fan of Final Wars Goji's design, movie, or any of that, but I do have to give Playmates credit. They did a really great job with this figure. I think the only thing I didn't like about it, aside from the pre-posed legs, was just the blue fucking pupils on the orange eyes. They look a little weird, but you know, whatever. I would definitely say that's a best tier boy right there. Best tier. Alright, up next is Vaporwave Godzilla, aka Hong Kong Battle Godzilla. I love what they were doing with this figure. I really do. I wish Kong got a little bit more of what Godzilla had, you know, more translucent bits and everything. But I also wouldn't have minded if Playmates just released a fully translucent blue Godzilla with purple paint on him. I think that would look really, really cool and, you know, vaporwavy. And when it comes to it essentially being yet another version of the Godzilla with Heat Ray figure, I think this one stands on top of most. So I'm gonna put this guy in best. Easy best. Easy. Alrighty, and up next is the all-vinyl Burning Godzilla figure. A figure that I praised rather highly, a figure that I said looks way better than the movie Monster Series Burning Godzilla from 2016, 2017, I don't remember which. And honestly, I still feel that way about this figure, aside from the very shapy look for the burning patches and such. I really don't think they needed to be so shapely, but at the same time, I still think it looks better than just blotch, 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 done. Plus, Playmates actually gave a crap enough to paint the dorsal fins on the tails, all the way to the tip of the tail. Yeah, it's not a perfect representation of Burning Godzilla, but hey man, I'll take it. Looks like they actually put some friggin' effort into it too. I wouldn't put him in best though. No, I would put him in very, very high tier decent though. Yes, I still praise him as one of the better, more recently released Burning Godzilla figures for sure. I wouldn't say he's great or best. That's, you know, that's that. And up next, we got Battle Mechagodzilla. Darker tone, translucent red with proton scream Mechagodzilla, which people are still having a rather hard time finding, which is unfortunate. I'm hoping in 2022 with all these new figures, that's something that Playmates can hopefully work through. I know it's really not their doing. It's more so based on the shipping crisis that's going on right now, and it seems like the ports are starting to open up a bit. So hopefully that means everything that has been scalped over the last year and a half and everything will be coming out in droves, and we don't have to worry about dingbats like tossing two figures up on eBay for $250 or $150, something like that, when they are MSRP 10, maybe 12 bucks. Anyway, I like Battle Mechagodzilla a lot, and he's gonna go right up there next to his tin can counterpart as one of the best Playmates releases. Easy. Alright, and up next is Playmates Godzilla Classic Series Space Godzilla, and I mean, if you've seen my review, fuck this figure. I understand Playmates were likely rushing to get figures out so they could meet a specific deadline to have figures on the shelves, because I am now a little bit more educated in what goes on with store shelves and certain brands buying however many shelves, shelf pegs, whatever. But this is quite possibly one of the most horrendous things that was released via Rush Playmates. And unlike their Shin Godzilla, this guy has no charm. It's a waste. And out of all the Wave 1 figures, I hope Space Godzilla is one that just gets done up from the ground up. Shin Godzilla already got it. I think he's looking pretty sweet. I hope the same is done for Space Godzilla. He does deserve better. And up next, we have the Skullcrawler from GVK. And, hey bro, we finally got a Skullcrawler figure that's not this small. We got one that's finally majorly articulated. It doesn't look the greatest, but I would say it is easily one of the best from the GVK line. Absolutely. Arms, legs, mouth, got a hit as an accessory. It's a good figure, and I know it's not going to happen, but I would jump for all joys if Playmates did a giant Skullcrawler figure. That would be friggin' fantastic. Playmates, please. Alright, starting off with another lacquered finish here, we have Battle Axe Monkey. One of the first monkeys I talked about on this channel. And, you know, it's a good figure. I feel mostly the same way about this figure as I do Fighter Jet Kong, but the open mouth, not a big fan of. The overall paint job, it's okay. The Battle Axe looks great, but it's not my favorite monkey. Absolutely not. But I am going to put him in great, because at the end of the day, great articulation, nice detail, not so much a fan of the head sculpt, not so much a fan of the base paint. That's all. Alright, up next is Monkey Meme Skull Island Kong with his face. He got a ball joint at the head, he's got swiveliers at the arms and legs, and I believe at the ankles. It's a good figure. He just looks a little bit like a meme, that's all. The very blank face is just too much for me, but I really like how it came out. I think Playmates kind of came out swinging with this Kong figure, and it's not bad at all. So he's gonna get high tier decent from me. Is that Mega Monkey with the Mega Monkey cheeks? Yeah, Mega Kong, high tier best. The Mega figures, and I know I'm just going to end up spoiling it now, but the Mega figures are two of the best Playmates figures that they've ever released, and I swear to all that is holy, if they don't end up releasing Mega Mechagodzilla, I'm going to be so sad, because I would love that design in a gigantic format. A format bigger than the giant Mechagodzilla figure. I would love that. I really, really would. When it comes to the sounds, when it comes to the lights, even when it comes to the accessories, which are mostly just the same as Godzilla's, but red, I want it. I need it. Please, Playmates, give it to me. Alright, Final Wars guy again. I had a weird bone to pick with this figure, because at first I thought it was just one of the worst out of the bunch because of the positioning of the arm and his inability to really stand that well unless you're really finick with it. But by the time I got him and ended up doing a review for him, I really couldn't do anything but praise it. It is absolutely one of the best Playmates figures from Wave 1 and just in general. Yeah, I hate that you can't turn the head. Yeah, I hate how he's got arm. I mean, there we go, arm. Or just, you know, bent weirdly arm. But other than that, that doesn't stop it from being a lovingly painted figure, a lovingly detailed figure. Articulation takes a bit of a hit, but I really don't think I could get away without putting this guy at, like, the best. Like, let's see here. Yeah, definitely one of Playmates' best. Alright. The boy caked in controversy. Playmates' Shin Godzilla figure, which, as we all know, is a very poor knockoff of the NECA mold. Now, I was under the impression that this was a stolen thing. I was under the impression that Playmates did NECA rather dirtily, but at the end of the day, Toho owns all of the molds that people make for them, as much as to my understanding. Toho knew that Playmates was in a bit of a pinch, so I imagine they just gave them access to whatever the heck. They chose what they did, and essentially they made a rather piss-poor version of NECA's Shin Godzilla. It is unfortunate that that happened. I know NECA weren't too pleased with it, and I know that only really twisted the knife between the two, but at the end of the day, what was done was, yeah, shiesty, but still, I guess, in a legality case, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And while I do think the figure has charm because he is just so friggin' ugly, I can't in any good conscience put that in best, great, decent, man. It's a terrible figure. Yeah, I have a soft spot for it, but it is, without a doubt, a terrible figure. 100%. Okay, now we're talking about the Snackbat, Warbat. Honestly, this is probably the best way you could have really done the Warbat character, or Nozuki. The articulation's great, the accessory is cool, he got the turkey bacon chunk out of his wing, he even comes with the stand. It is definitely one of the more stacked Playmates releases, and I genuinely think it looks pretty good. So, I'm gonna put that in best. I mean, can you really argue with me? It's pretty dang good. And as compared to all the other Warbat figures we got, which isn't a lot, it might actually be 2 or 3. I don't even know. I know I can count them on one hand, though. One hand, that's for sure. It's definitely one of the best, for sure. Alrighty, and up next is Giant Godzilla. The one that everybody thought was a Jack-specific remold, stolen mold, anything like that, and it turned out to kinda not be that, and just like Giant Kong, it's a good figure. It absolutely is. It was a good way to really strike the iron back in the day before the GVK movie dropped, and it was a good release to get in. It honestly helped the channel a lot when it first released, so I ain't got no bad blood against it. The dorsal fins I do wish were a little bit more on the solid side. I mean, they haven't warped so far, so I think we're all Gucci in that. But I kinda do wish this was another figure that they kind of brought back to the drawing board. It's like, okay, let's go with a little bit more of a darker shade on the skin and everything, because he do look like mixed blueberry yogurt when it comes to his design, and it did lead to a lot of people thinking that Godzilla was going to be blue throughout the movie, and that didn't happen. Not at all. I mean, Hong Kong battle fight, of course, but did I just say Hong Kong battle fight? The Hong Kong battle, yeah. But, could use some reworkings, I feel. But beyond that, it is still a great figure. Alrighty, and up next we have Heat Ray Godzilla, which was one of the first 6-inch figures we got, and I definitely favor this one over the radio tower exponentially, because Godzilla coming with an atomic breath or a heat ray effect, it's just needed when it comes to, if you need to include an accessory, just include that. Maybe a building or two, but come on. Godzilla with blue dorsal fins, you need the heat ray. Unlike SH Monster Arts, Playmates actually delivered on that. I'm looking at you, Atomic Breath GMK. But yeah, I'm gonna put him right about, right on the refrigerator. Alright, Mechagodzilla. Same thing I said with Mega Kong, though I would say that is Playmates, or at least one of their crowning major achievements. Beautiful figure. You can think it's junk, you can think it's trash, you can think my opinion's trash. At the end of the day, I don't care. It's a good figure, it's got gimmicks, playing around with it makes me feel like a kid again, and it's just a good looking figure. Yeah, mine could have used a little bit more shading, but fluke it. I paid $50 for it, it's fine. Alright, next up is King Kong. I absolutely do not apologize for calling him that. Thank you, Shin Robjira Discord server. It is essentially a light repaint of Fighter Jet Kong with a different accessory. But I really like how Playmates handled this one with the white paint. Yeah, it's just, spackled on there, but I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know if I would call it one of the best out there of the Playmates line, but I would definitely say it's very much high-tier great stuff right there. Absolutely. Alrighty, we're getting close here, friends and neighbors. We have 1956 Rodan, which I really do friggin' enjoy. I really don't have anything negative to say about this figure. Whoa! And I do think it is, like, high tier good when it comes to paint and detail. When it comes to articulation, not so much, but paint and detail-wise, he's right on up there. Absolutely. And honestly, the same could go for Gorosaurus. Okay, you know what? There we go. That feels a little bit more right? Rodan and Gorosaurus, both very fantastic releases, very surprising releases, and 2 that I'm just very happy to own. Thank you yet again to Kaiju Dork for hooking me up with this Gorosaurus. Much love to you. Alright, so this is probably one figure from Playmates that my opinion has changed on drastically. Absolutely, I do appreciate the fact that Playmates wanted to make a Jet Jaguar figure and did. Yes, it has its issues, but directly after doing this, I do believe the standard Jet came out and then the flying Jet came out. One's got a little bit more paint issues than this one, yes, but they can both friggin' stand. They can stand. You don't know how many times I have left my office, come back in the morning, and seen this dude on the friggin' floor. Because I had to get rid of his plastic little stand that he had from the box. I didn't throw it out or anything like that. But I had to get rid of it to make space for all the new stuff coming in. And it's just... ooh, it's a pain. I know. Turn the torso towards the left or the right, and he can stand. I get that. But, bro... nobody was bummed out about the fact that we had neutral stance Jet Jaguar figures before this. I don't think anybody was bummed about the fact that we could get another one from Playmates. Playmates, just make the feet flat. That's all I'm asking. Make the feet flat. If you gotta splay the legs out in a different way, just do that. please. It's not that I hate this figure. The paint and the detail are great. A little bit washed out when it comes to the paint. It's on my release, I don't know if any of that has changed. For the most part, I just want another one that can actually stand. Maybe just include a stand with him if you don't want to go back to the drawing board and resculpt some legs. This is definitely one of those times where I absolutely despise the pre-posed legs. This guy especially. 100%. I'm going to put him at low tier decent. Now when it comes to Hong Kong Battle Kong, Easter Arms Kong as I like to call him, I definitely feel Monkey got the short end of the stick. I think it would have been cool if Godzilla was all translucent blue and Kong was all translucent purple and they have the different splashings of subcolors on them. I think that would have looked really, really awesome. But at the end of the day, we got Monkey with totally different colored arms, not too much going on in the rest of them, and a pretty poorly painted battle axe, which, yeah, it wasn't charged up during the fight, or at least wholly charged up, but I do feel they could have gone a little bit more fun with this one. I feel like it was very last minute feeling. So despite the articulation and the details being so good, and despite it being the version of the Playmates GVK Kong that I prefer the most, this guy's gonna go in meh. Really didn't need to be a thing unless you guys were gonna go all out for him. You didn't. You have the chance to now. I say go for it. And up next is Supercharged Godzilla, or as we call him in the Shin Island Discord server, Agony Goji. Because he does look like he's in agony. It feels like a weird retooling of the Battle Roar Godzilla with some obviously different things and somewhat of a smaller size, I think. I love the little accessory he came with, the little vehicle that was all mashed up. I think it was a fighter jet. That's cool. I wouldn't call it one of the strongest or even one of the best Godzilla figures from the GVK line. I would definitely say it was satisfactory at best. It was an unneeded, I feel, inclusion to the GVK line, but hey, you got money, you're making toys, go ahead, make some unnecessary toys. I mean, look at the ocean battle Godzilla and Kong figures from the GVK line that are going to be coming out. They're literally the same figures we have been getting with gloss all over them. I don't know anything about the accessories that are going to be coming with them, but pointless. Am I going to be getting them? Probably, but still pointless. But at least in this guy's case, he's somewhat of a new sculpt that does some things differently, but I'm still going to put him kind of low tier decent. It's a good figure. It absolutely is, but it didn't need to happen. Absolutely not. Okay, we're going to do Skull Island Kong first when it comes to these two figures, just because I have a massive friggin' bias. Skull Island 11-inch Kong is a great figure. It's just I really do prefer the V2 version because of the paint that was included, and his gums are actually painted as well, and they look a lot better. Like a lot better. So I'm going to put him at high tier decent with his 6-inch counterpart. If I ever do end up getting the V2 Skull Island Kongs, guaranteed it's going to be a double review and a double comparison there, and I'm more than likely going to like them a lot better. But anyway, the final figure on the tier list is Giant Mechagodzilla, another figure from Playmates that I would absolutely call a crown jewel of an achievement for them. Beautiful amounts of detail, paint in all the right places. Do wish for a little bit, oh fuck, I do wish there was a little bit more of it, specifically the red. The only area that this figure kind of fell off with was the articulation. But when you take a look at Giant Kong and Giant Godzilla, it kind of makes sense why it is where it is, you know? Articulation at the tail, articulation in the arms and the wrists, articulation at the thighs and the ankles and everything, nothing at the knees. It makes sense. It's totally on brand for the giant figures, so I really ain't all that mad about it, but I still want my Mechagodzilla figure. But I am going to toss this guy right behind Mega Kong and Mechagodzilla because he's just a good looking figure, bar none. And that, everybody, is my best to worst tier list of all the Playmates releases from 2019 to 2021. I do so hope you enjoyed. And I'm glad you're all enjoying these tier list videos. I stopped doing these for a long time, and seeing them get such a nice response is really encouraging. So I can't wait to do more of these. I think I'm going to do the NECA Godzilla line after these. But anyway, if you didn't already see, there will be a link to this template in the description below. I made it myself. Make your own. Go to the Shin Discord server. Share your results in the figures and merch chat, and let's have a fun discussion about it. about it. I'm sure you don't agree with everything I said, and I'm sure other people won't agree with what you say, but that's okay because we are not all adults, but we should be able to have a fun conversation, explain our work, all that other stuff. It's a fun time. Please join us there. And this was a fun time. I hope it was fun for you, and I will see you all next time, whenever, wherever that will be. A happy and safe morning, afternoon, and night to all y'all. Peace.